and Eric is here to give us the results. We gave the technical committee the opportunity and the privilege to work diligently and get us a coach. And they did their work. They do whatever they need to do. And they gave us their report. We look at the report and we talk with the National Sports Commission. They gave us their own endorsement, and Eric is here today. And by the grace of God, he is here to work. And I want to assure all Nigerians that if Eric can give us what happened in Mali, by the grace of God, we are going to the World Cup. We should not be making all kinds of statements. There is no coach that was employed to Nigeria without having this kind of decision. Look at the record. When you look at West Ham, people will give history of West Ham. How did he come to Nigeria? What was his record? What was the record of Bob when he came to Nigeria? So I can go on and on and on. So, but the key thing is we want somebody that understands the mentality of African football. And Eric is here, and by the grace of God, he is going to give us the results. So anything I want from all of us, football stakeholders in Nigeria, let us rally around Eric and give him all the support he needed.
What is the objective of bringing the coach here is all of us are focused to see how we do everything that we have to do to support the NFF, support the process to get us to the World Cup. And I think commentators and our stakeholders need to only look at the record of Eric with the national team. What is his record when he managed the national team? That record is very impeccable. 22 games with Mali at the top level, 14 wins, 5 draws, only 3 losses. 40-something goals scored and only 13 goals conceded. So what are we supposed to do at this moment? We are looking for a process where we can drive this process to get us to qualify to the World Cup. We are going to play African teams. It is Zimbabwe, it is Rwanda, it is Lesotho, it is South Africa and Benin, core African teams. There is absolutely no time and no process to do any friendly match. We are going straight to the qualifiers to try to drive the result. So at this moment, what is it, the sensible decisions that is to be done, as the President has said, is to get a person who has a credibility and has a record and understand and agree with the process of African football.
Sport greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us. This is Sports Tonight on Channels Television in London. I'm Austin Okonakman. Yes, that was NFF President Ibrahim Gusso and the Chairman of the National Sports Commission, Chelle. There is a new sheriff in town for football in Nigeria. He says he wants to restore the Super Eagles to the pinnacle of world football. His name is Mr. Eric Chelle, and if you listen to what Ibrahim Gusso said, and of course Chelle, you can see that they've got confidence in this new coach. Let's see if football will be fair to Eric Chelle as he begins his reign as head coach of the Super Eagles. Joining us live on the show is in our studio in Lagos, Onifade Damilola. Damilola, good to have you join us on Sports Tonight.
Austin, it's my pleasure being here. It's such a remarkable thing that has happened to Nigerian football, if you can describe it that way, with the appointment of Eric Chelle. Mixed feelings all around. For me, I think the best we could do at this time, the man has been appointed, he's been unveiled, the deal is already signed and sealed, is to support him and hope that we get the best out of the Super Eagles in the next 6 matches that we have to play, that will decide our fate either to go to the World Cup or not.
We'll see. Damilola says mixed feelings. Well, I'm sure after reading his letter, you were a bit convinced. I like his passion. I think he's ready to work. This job seemed bigger than Eric Chelle, and I think that's why he's pumped up to maybe win some fans over to his side. We'll wait to see. Let's go to Reims in France, respected broadcast journalist, sports journalist with the BBC. Oluwashina Okeleji joins us on the show. Shina, good to have you join us on Sports Tonight.
Hi, Austin. Thanks for having me. And it's a Chelle moment in Nigeria, I understand. Chelle.
I like that. For our international audience back home in Nigeria, you say Chelle, it means something is happening. So what's happening in Nigeria is Eric Chelle. I like that. Oluwashina, do you also have mixed feelings as regards the appointment of Eric Chelle?
Not at all. I just think sometimes Nigerians have a sense of, they think they are bigger than what they really are. In my opinion, all the top managers, so-called top managers that Nigerians expected to sign or get for the Super Eagles didn't really work out. We had Jan Anderson from Sweden. He felt like it was a difficult task to take. He ran away. He avoided the NFF. Abe Rena was offered the highest ever pay in the history of African football to manage Nigeria. He himself docked. And then you had a panic signing in Bruno Labbadia. Labbadia ran away from Nigeria. And then again, what do you have to do? They had to go to the man that they had rejected last summer, because Eric Chelle was already the man that was recommended by the technical committee of the Nigerian Executive NFF ESCO to actually be the one to steer the Super Eagles out of the predicament they are in. It's a precarious situation. No manager in world football wants to come and touch Nigeria. And now you've got a man who is brave enough to say to you, like, he's ready for the job. And we heard Shehu Diko there mentioning the statistic concerning about Eric Chelle. And Nigerians, in their traditional way, saying, look, no, Nigeria is bigger than Mali. Nigeria is bigger than Mali. Who is this manager? I was fired by Mali and all of that. We've heard the same thing about Genetro when it came to Nigeria. Genetro took Nigeria to their best ever performance since 2013. And then again, we had the same criticism surrounding Jose Pesero when he took charge of Nigeria. Many called him Jose Who, and he turned out to be the first man to take Nigeria to the finals of the AFCON since Stephen Keshi won in 2013. So I think sometimes we just need to allow people to do their job. And for those who are clamoring for local managers, I keep asking them the same question. Who hasn't been given the job to handle the Super Eagles of Nigeria from the generation of 1994, apart from Emmanuel Amunike? And, so some people are even mentioning Samson Siasia, some people are mentioning Austin Eguavon should have stayed in charge. But Austin struggled to beat Rwanda. The same team, he struggled to beat Rwanda home and away and lost at home to Rwanda in AFCON qualifying. And this is the same Rwanda who are leading Nigeria in the World Cup qualifying. So I think people just need to relax, calm down, and be fair enough in their criticism of Eric Chelle.
You know, when you said Austin couldn't beat Rwanda, I added Eguavon in my mind. It's not me. It wasn't me. I was talking about. It was Austin Eguavon. Let's go to Lagos. Damilola, as the dust settled, the football fans, have they now accepted that Eric Chelle is the man? Are they willing to go on to support him? What's the mood?
I think the point is a lot of people are settling to accept that there is nothing we could do with this appointment, no matter what you think. I agree to a large extent with what Shino said, that if you are clamoring for a local coach, I mean, who really hasn't been tested and what has been the result of all the tests that we've done. So I think a lot of people are going to accept the fact that this is the coach. They might not be happy with the appointment, but we're at a point where we just have to accept it and wish him all the best. If he succeeds, the Super Eagles of Nigeria succeeds. Nigeria succeeds. If he fails at it, that means there is a setback, not just for the individual, the coach, that's the Chelle, but it's a setback for the Nigerian national team. And the biggest setback you could have at this time is that we'll not be at the World Cup. And that's, to many people, is unthinkable. I included, even though our situation is so bad, but I still think that with the right things being done by the NFF, the coach, and of course the players, we can still salvage this situation. And I think we're at that point where we all have no choice but just to support whoever the coach is and hope that the players will deliver and the coach will also deliver on each of those 6 match days.
I think so. I think that's all we can do. You know, the decision has been made. The man has been unveiled. I watched the unveiling ceremony. It looked colorful. There was, good spirits going around. He was smiling. The NFF officials were smiling. Let's just wait to see if football will keep the smile. So that's the contract right there. Is for a 2-year contract and can be extended for another year if Eric Chelle gets to, get Nigeria to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Let's listen to Super Eagles' new coach, Eric Chelle.
Before to talk scoring goals, you need to put in place in a game project. You need to put in place in game project or work in the offense. So scoring goals is a state of mind. You need to be aggressive in goal area. And technically, you need to have some course, lots of course. But the most important is the state of mind and put in place the game project. The most important, it's not Eric Chelle, it's not the player, Lukman or Oshimen or the other. The first goal is the Nigeria. To qualify in Nigeria. We must to win. There is 6 games, and the two you need to win the next game. Donc actually I'm focused on the next game, and after that we will see the other games. Before to talk scoring goals, you need to put in place in a game project. You need to put in place in game project for work in the offense. So scoring goals is a state of mind. You need to be aggressive in goal area, and technically you need to have some course, lots of course. But the most important is the state of mind and put in place the game project.
So that's it, new Super Eagles coach, Mr. Eric Chelle. I play attacking football. The Super Eagles will score lots of goals. In his letter, he said he will restore Nigeria football to the pinnacle where it's supposed to be in world football. Shino, you listen to him. Was he making too much promises?
I don't think you expect any man to come into a job and tell you he can't do it. He would always want to gear towards having a confident approach towards the team. And Eric, as a footballer, when he was in the French league, he has a mentality that it's all about you win or you go home. So, and I've been speaking to some players who he managed in Mali. The captain, Amari Traore, told me is a good guy. He's a good man manager who can speak, positively to the players, and he also who's confidence. Things just didn't go well for them at the AFCON, and that's why he struggled to actually implement things. Remember, he beat Genetro to the job in 2021 when he was given the job of handling Mali in 2022 actually, and when the Malian authority, the FEMAFOOT, when they interviewed Eric, they said there was something they saw in Eric, is the sense of a man who wants to work with his team, and a man who wants to bring out the best in a team, and a man who knows what is expected of a team. Some people never turn out to be glamorous footballers in their career, and that's Eric. But as a manager, he's trying to build one for himself. So I think everything he said ticked the box for me. All he needed to do was to convince the public. In fact, a very cynical and critical public in that sense, because I've been seeing what's going on social media and how people are responding to his announcement by the Nigerian Football Federation. So he needed to strike confidence, and I think confidence he did strike.
Damilola, he's got a decent record with Mali. If we're to use that to judge, did the Nigerian Football Federation make the right decision with this appointment?
Well, right or wrong, it's going to be judged by his result, ultimately. But then, like he said, his record in Mali wasn't a poor one. Although the story that's been flying around is like it's worse than it is. I mean, on the table, Mali is still better positioned on their World Cup qualifiers table than even the Super Eagles. So he has a decent result with Mali. But again, I don't want to pay too much attention to his record in Mali. Because, I mean, the most successful coach, Pesero, what was his record on the African continent? Probably nothing. Genetro came here. What was his record with Burkina Faso before he came to the Super Eagles and went as far as the winning a bronze medal? So I don't think that's so much of what I want to pay attention to. I'm more interested in some of the things that Shino mentioned. What is the state of mind of the man? What is he bringing to the job? And looking at, all of us agree that we have good players at this point, a good collection of players. Can he get the best out of them? And if he can do that, I think he has all it takes, in my view, from what I've seen and heard of him, to get us at least to that level that we'll be confident that the NFF made the right decision. But the NFF must play their own role as well. Whatever support it needs must be provided. I don't. We are in a situation where, unless you are getting the so-called world-class coach, mentioned a few names, which we all know. I didn't want to touch the Super Eagles. The name has been touted a couple of times. Labadia was mentioned, but then he pulled out of it. So, who else are we going to appoint? I mean, if it's not Eric Chelle, you want to look at the local coach, who is that coach? And nobody can outrightly mention a name. So I think we are in a position where we couldn't have done better than we've done, and we can only support what we have.
We'll see. And the man is pumped up for the job. With Mali, Eric Chelle had 21 games, scored 43 goals. Now you know why he said he'll be playing attacking football. 113, drew 5, and lost just 3. Shina, I want to let you go now in 2 minutes. Is this job bigger than Eric Chelle?
I don't want to believe the job is bigger than Eric Chelle. I actually think there's an over-bloated ego that Nigeria has about who they really are. I'm sorry, we are only big in numbers in terms of population. We claim to be giants of Africa. We only have 3 African titles. Ivory Coast has met us already now with 3 African titles. Eric Chelle would do what Eric Chelle would do, provided, just like Onifadi said earlier, given the right environment. Austin, you and I know the Super Eagles don't have a training center. They only have one facility to play football, CAF-approved stadium in Uyo. That pitch is a storm or a flood away from being, Super Eagles being homeless. So that means we only have one. Mali, that we are talking about, he had a training facility when he was managing Mali. They have a training center in Bamako where they are training the team. We don't have one. We have a Super Eagles bus that is smoky, noisy, and of course, like a broken down mulwe that breaks down every time the players are on it. There's no AC working in it. We don't have that. You don't have all of this. And mind you, we are infamous for owing managers. The last 7 managers we've had in Nigeria, we've owed them at least 7 months' salary. So for Eric Chelle to actually deliver, we also need to sort out our players' match bonus. They are going 20 match bonuses unpaid. So Eric Chelle is coming to inherit a broken team, a team that has struggled, a team that actually lost at home to Rwanda in their last encounter. So for me, I think Eric Chelle hasn't taken a job bigger than him. Eric Chelle has taken a team that is in crisis. And all he needs to do is to get going with his job, speak to the players like he said he wants to do. And the Super Eagles will hopefully fly when the World Cup qualifying starts in March.
Thank you so much, Oluwashina Okeleji, for your time on the show. And you didn't do a good job. Now I'm so worried, thinking about everything you talked about in terms of management of the Super Eagles. Thank you so much for your time. So that's it. I'll let Shina go. Post tonight on Channels Television, we're talking about the new Super Eagles coach, Mr. Eric Chelle, has been unveiled right there in Abuja. And of course, so much talking points coming out of his unveiling. Is he the sort of coach for the Super Eagles? Shina Okeleji joined us from France and he said, look, we need to calm down. Our football isn't in that sort of state where we'll be making so much demands. And that's why I'll bring Damilola Onifade back into the conversation. Shina made some valid points as regards the management of the team. Damilola, remember I always say that there are some things you do before you get into the football pitch and start winning. And until the NFF start doing those things, even if we bring Pep Guardiola, don't you think we'll still be struggling?
I absolutely agree with you. There are a lot of things that needs to be done. That's why my emphasis have been on not just the coach, the record of the coach, or even how good our players are, but what the federation is going to do to support him. Yeah, you cannot have a coach and then you continue the very bad habit of owing the coach. And then you expect that the coach will still be motivated to get the job done. We cannot have a coach where he can only play in one part of in one stadium in the country, and even the training facility, there have to be some kind of arrangement each time they want to train, because there is a club that uses it normally. We do not have a dedicated place for our national team as a training center. Those are some of the little things that plays a role. What is the thankfully, we are beginning to get at least traveling arrangement a bit better in the last few years, but we need to keep it up. We need to prep a lot of things up The players cannot be coming to camp and they are talking about bonuses that they were being owed even before the coach came on board. These are the things that we need to tidy up administratively. The NFF must get their hearts together, and then we expect that the coach is now having the right environment to deliver. There is also the big matter of influence in terms of who the coach will invite. I hope that will also not prop up at some point. Whether he wants to use home-based players or foreign-based players, as long as they are Nigerians, I would say that let the man pick the best players that he feels he needs for the style and the system he wants to play part-time. And if you give him that enabling environment, then the foundation is there for him to succeed. Now, if he does not deliver, then we have a right to ask him questions for the investment that we've made into this appointment. Otherwise, we've seen in recent time that it is not enough to have good players. It's not enough for you to appear on match day and say you are Nigeria. Nobody cares. Players across Africa are becoming more exposed. They now have foreign-based players as well, and they are very good players. They might not be as big a name as our own set of players, but that does not matter on match day. What matters on match day is who delivers on that pitch within 90 minutes.
That's right, results. And Coach Eric Chelle said it, that he wants to play attacking football. He wants to score lots of goals. In 21 matches with Mali, he scored 43 goals. So I'm sure he's looking at a super good forward line and saying, they've got the quality. We'll see what will happen. In March, all of these talks, we get into action. Let's get into the conversation, the Confederation Cup game now. Group D is of interest to us because that's where Nigeria's sole representative, Enyimba Football Club of Aba, that's where they are grouped. And what a story, Damilola. They had every opportunity to win that last game against Al Masry, but it ended 1-1. Zamalek, they've already qualified from Group D. Al Masry is in second, Enyimba is in third, and then Black Bulls of Mozambique sit in fourth position. Now, the last group game comes up this Sunday. Enyimba will take on Zamalek. They are going away. Damilola, when you look at this result, if Enyimba had beaten Al Masry, they would have been seated comfortably in second position, and a bit of pressure will be off them. Now, even if they win their game against Zamalek, they'll be hoping for Al Masry to draw. Permutations.
I think their fate is sealed. I think Enyimba's fate is sealed in this competition. They've done as much as they could this season. I don't see Enyimba qualifying. If they do, it will be a big shock for me. And I probably will give them the expectation to even get to the final if they can survive this. Because despite the fact that Zamalek has qualified, I do not think that Zamalek will lose at home to Enyimba. I think the Egyptians are too good and too proud to want to lose at home, no matter what the situation might be. And I also don't see how Black Bulls will get a result against Al Masry. So my prediction is that Enyimba will lose in Egypt, Al Masry will defeat Black Bulls, and the two North African sides will make it through. Sad as it is, but it is where we are.
Damilola, this is football where anything can happen, and Black Bulls, they'll also be... It's tough, I know. It's really tough because we didn't want to get to this level, but we're here now. Just trying to see.
Even you are finding it difficult to believe it.
I know. I'm just trying to see the worst that can happen because Al Masry will be playing at home to Black Bulls, and as you said, Zamalek will play for everything. And if you check the way they saw out Black Bulls in their last game, well, that game was played in Egypt, so it looked like a home game for them. But I understand what it means for Zamalek to keep that superiority going into the quarterfinals. So should we say it's all over for Enyimba?
I think it's over. I think Enyimba should start thinking of next season. They should try as much as possible to save their season in the domestic scene and see if they can be back on the continent. I think that's the best they can do. Like I said, they've given their best this season, the best that they can put together. I don't think they can go further. Like you said, maybe there is that 1% chance that anything can happen in football. But two results must go in their favor. First, they must beat Zamalek in Egypt, and let's hope that Al Masry beat as Black Bull beats Al Masry, which is also a tall order. So that's why I'm really neat. If it's something that is, if their fate is in their hands, that just win against Zamalek and you qualify, maybe I'll give them a bigger chance. But it will depend on Black Bulls also getting results. For me, it's almost impossible.
It looks tough. Just before that game against Al Masry, new coach of Enyimba, Stanley Guma, comes with a lot of experience. He was confident that Enyimba can do something because they were coming off a good form after beating Nasarawa United in a rescheduled Nigeria Premier Football League match. But hey, it ended 1-1. Let's listen to Stanley Guma.
Well, it was really unfortunate. We couldn't win the game. Actually, I prepared and planned to win it. You know, we trained very hard and then map our strategy to beat the opponents. Unfortunately, their opponents, the MSR team, they came to play a game of their lives here. But I think other players, we expected them so much, especially in the first half. We were lethargic in our approach, and that caused the early goal we conceded. That goal, I think, demoralized us so much. And most of these players have not played at this level. Most of them are playing for the very first time. It affected them. The second half, when we came and equalized, we had a lot of chances, series of chances to convert, to pick the game. We faltered in front of goal. A lot of misses. I think that was our undoing. If not, we have been a different result today. But for me, I think it's not the end of the game. We still have a next game to play. It's a game of football, you can never tell. If Amazri can come here and play a game of their lives, we can go to Egypt and get something better. And who knows what will be the outcome of other games. I think we are still optimistic. It's not over until it's over. Well, if you have a team, I think you have a reason for you to start rotating a club, a team. You know, to start rotating the players. If you have a team that is doing well, of course, I think that team should continue. You know, but for here, I don't think there's any fatigue. Fatigue did not worry my players because their program has been very, very okay. You know, even in Europe, everywhere players play in the league and also play in the continent. So there's no fatigue. I didn't complain of fatigue, but we respected our opponents so much, and they were a bit lethargic.
So that's it. Enyimba manager Stanley Guma. Players didn't complain of fatigue, Damilola, but I think they came out of a very difficult win against Al Masry, and then they played that rescheduled MPFL game against Nasarawa United, and they also labored. Because remember, at some point it was 1-1 before Brownie Day came on, to score. So I think that's also affecting. When we look at these North Africans, Damilola, I'm trying to understand why our MPFL teams struggle against North African teams. When the CAF Champions League or CAF Confederation Cup is being played, their league is in paused. That way, they keep their form going. Is that part of what we should start doing just so our teams can stay competitive?
It's what we can do. It's what we should do. But again, like you said, there are a lot of things that come into this thing. A lot of planning, and like I always say, football does not operate in isolation. You also have to look at the environment. How easy will it be for Enyimba to play in Aba, for example, or play in Aba? Let's even say they have a home game, and then they have to come to Lagos to travel, and they have to be in North Africa maybe by Friday, and then come back, and then they have another game. So by the time you look at all those logistics with the state of our road and then you find out that sometimes it's difficult. Some of these games have to be postponed. Unfortunately, when you postpone it, at some point, it also counts against this team. Like we see, the game against Nasa is a rescheduled game. It's not even a normal. That game was not played on the day it was initially scheduled for. So, whether you reschedule or not, the backlog at some point starts affecting the team, even by the time you want to fix it up. So, it's a gamut of an issue that goes sometimes beyond football. You have to look at the infrastructure available within the country for these clubs to work with as well, and that might also count against them. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but a lot of things need to change. Even the standard of our league possibly have to get better. We have to look at the scheduling again. We have to look at even the welfare of our players. We have to look at the nutrition of these players. We have to look at the condition of our clubs, how they are run, how professional are they. If you beyond playing football, there are a lot of things that comes in that gets the players medical. What about the medical facilities available to these players after the games? How do we take care of them? What are the conditions from the game against Nasarawa before going to play against Al Masry? What are those conditions? And then they travel the week before. You have to look at all those things, Austin. It goes, you see, unfortunately, when we talk football, we look at the 90 minutes. And then we judge on the 90 minutes. But it's a lot more bigger and deeper than that. And sometimes you just look at these issues and you can only laugh, because so it's like we are not even scratching the surface yet of what professional football should be.
I know, I totally agree. I was speaking to a French sports journalist based in Cairo, and he said it clearly that even the Nigerian players are distracted because some of them are playing to the galleries, so those Egyptian clubs will see them. And that in itself is a big problem. And it's because they don't find the league in Nigeria attractive enough for them to stay to play football. Yes, wishing Enyimba Football Club all the best as they take on Al Masry. I don't know how to say, I don't wish Al Masry all the best against Black Bulls. But let's see what football will give to us. We'll come back and talk about it. But Enyimba really need a miracle for them to advance to the quarterfinals of the CAF Confederation Cup. Let's take the conversation back home now. Talk about the Nigeria Women's Football League. We're waiting for the start of the new season. Edo Queens are defending champions. So, new women's football up for grabs. Who is going to get us talking this season? We'll take a look at the fixtures. And then Damilola will get right into it. Nasarawa Amazons match day 1. We'll take on Danas Ladies. Ekiti Queens will host Heartland Queens. Confluence Queens, they were pretty decent last season, but, just couldn't do enough to win it. We take on the impressive Remo Stars Ladies. That's another team that got us talking last season. Defending champions Edo Queens will welcome Abia Angels. That's for Group A, match day 1 of the new Nigeria Women's Football League. Let's see what's going down. Group B, Rivers Angels, the most successful women's football team in Nigeria, will host Ibom Angels. Ibom Angels making a return to the league. Let's see what they can do. Can they stay this time around? Adamawa Queens will take on Niger Hotels. That's another decent team with women's football. Benue Queens will take on FC Robo Queens. While Bayelsa Queens will take on Delta Queens. On a good day, Damilola, this is even the Super 6 final. Bayelsa Queens versus Delta Queens. I think we have a more balanced, pairings this time around than we had last season, Damilola.
Yeah, we do. We have a more balanced team, and that sets the tone for a very competitive season in both Group A and B. In Group A, you are looking at what Edo Queens did last season, and I'm still rooting for them. I think they impressed me, not just in the league, what they also did on the continent. They will be my top pick for that particular group. For Group B, there is also Rivers Angels, there is Bayelsa Queens as well. These are the super regular teams that will always have a say in what becomes of that group at the end of the day. So, and there are also a bit, we expect a lot of improvement this season, particularly there will be a star match on TV every week. I think the game that will be screened tomorrow is the game between Edo Queens, the one involving Edo Queens. And I think that's a good innovation. At the end of BFL, thumbs up to them for that, the board. But again, I will appeal. What the major area where I think they need to improve from last season is the area of a regular update of their fixtures and the results, and of course updating their table, getting the information and communication right on time. I think they need to help the media team or prep up the media team in a way that they will be able to deliver. A few seasons ago, we used to have that very well, but last season there was a drop. I hope that this season they will up the ante and get it much, much better than we had last season. Overall, we are set for what should be a very competitive season. I hope administratively we get everything tidied up.
I think they've done fairly well, and I always say that the men should go to the women and ask them, how do you manage these things, particularly in Nigeria? So with the NWFL, I think they need to also do more that will make the game attractive. It's already beautiful, so that more fans will get to come out, watch games, because we see beautiful things in the Nigeria Women's Football League. Let's talk about one team. I call them the most successful, and that's fact. Rivers Angels. They are ready for the new season, and so they've unveiled a new coach, Tosin Blackson. That's him right there. I know him so well. Shout out to Coach Blackson. used to bring teams to the Channels International Kids Cup. I love this progress. Now, not just Coach Blackson, we also had Coach Bankole Olowo Kere, who is now with the Flamingos. He's a product of the Channels International Kids Cup. Now we have Coach Blackson also doing this thing with Rivers Angels. A clear testament that if you give to the grassroots, it will definitely come back. And this is good unveiling. We don't get to see this much with coaches trying to prove to them that he's got the ability also and he's got the skill. So congratulations to Coach Tosan Blackson and Rivers Angels. They have also unveiled 6 new signings ahead of the 2024-2025 Nigeria Women Football League Premiership, and they did this at the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt in South Nigeria. The club's general manager, Itoene Matilda, says their aim is to reclaim the title they last won 3 years ago. Can you believe it? Rivers Angels, and get a continental ticket. Some of the players that were unveiled, Rivers Angels, will kick off the new campaign against newly promoted Ibom Angels at the Adokie Amesimaka Stadium in Port Harcourt when the season kicks off on January the 15th. That's tomorrow. Let's listen to some of the talking points from that unveiling of Rivers Angels coach and players.
We are very excited to bring in these new legs. Most of our players moved out of the country, so we knew that it's a very good idea to beef up the team once more again. And we went for the best. We shopped for the best. We had the best. That's what I can tell you for the 5 seasons. After we lost our coach, we looked for the best. Rivers Angels stands for excellence, and we know that we have already built a platform for ourselves. It's a brand, so we had to go all around, look for possible people that applied, and trust my boss. He will always go for the best, and you can see his profile today. You have heard all his past records, and I'm sure coming into Rivers Angels, he's nothing but the best. I think that's one of the best coaches in the Nigerian Female League today.
I'm happy we are having such unveiling today, and the new players will feel welcomed into the family. They won't feel left out. They won't feel not regarded or not appreciated. I'm happy we are doing such, and I also want to assure our fans that we are going to give in all our best. We want to come back with the CAF tickets, which is our main goal, and if possible, by the special grace of God, the FA Cup title, which we want to retain from last season.
For the players, I promise to work tirelessly with you to unlock your full potentials and achieve greatness. My philosophy is centered around hard work, discipline, and teamwork. We will sweat, we will grind, and we will give everything to make this club proud. To the fans, I pledge to deliver a team that will make you proud, a team that will fight for every ball, and a team that will give everything to bring success to this great club. Let's work together, let's unite, and let's achieve greatness.
Let's work together, let's unite, and let's achieve greatness. So, Damilola, with what you've seen and heard, should we just give Rivers Angels the title?
Of course, no. Football don't award titles. You have to get on the pitch and play. But it's good. It's good to see that. Of course, it can be better. The organization can be better. But it's good to see that we're making effort to improve. It's good to see that beyond the 90 minutes of football, we're also creating conversations around our game. We're creating content around the game. And I think it's something that we should applaud. A few years ago, a ceremony like this unveiling is alien to Nigerian football, even for the men, not to talk of now the women that was just coming up. So I think it's something to applaud, and it set the tone. There is a way it creates excitement in the average fan to look forward to the season. But something I also want to mention that you mentioned in passing is that, you see, when we invest in grassroots, sometimes people focus too much on the players that are coming through. But you said something from the Channel Kids Cup, 2 coaches you could mention now have come through that system, and there are lots of them that are still going to come up either this year or in years to come. And I think that's credit to what an organization can do. And if we have a few more people coming up to make the right investment, our sport can only be better for it. I wish Rivers Angels all the best. I'm looking forward to the final end of the season, the Super 8, where we'll have all the top teams so that we can really have a really, really competitive Super 8 that will give us the champion for the year 2025-2026 season.
I totally agree with you, Damilola. You see, and I say it all the time to sports administrators in Nigeria that the grassroots is where everything happens, you know. And when I look at these coaches now, Coach Bankole used to come with a school somewhere in Yanoipaja. Coach Blanksin comes with a team from Port Harcourt, and today they are already doing big things. Coach Jolomi, who eventually went on to become the assistant coach of the Golden Eaglets. That's because they had that base with the Channels Kids Club to learn, to work with young talents. So it's not about winning all the time. Sometimes you just grow, you invest in development. And I just hope that people that run our sports will see the need to, you know, give attention to the grassroots. Quick update, what's going on in the English Premier League? Games are going on live. Brentford, Manchester City, that game, it's in its 55th minute. Manchester City pushing, but Brentford doing just enough to stay in it. It's still goalless. The game between Chelsea and Bournemouth, it's now 1-1. It was Chelsea that got the goal first, but Bournemouth, they found a way to get back into it. It's West Ham 2, Fulham 1. Coach Potter wants to really get into this West Ham team, so let's see what he can do with this game against Fulham. And surprise, surprise, Damilola, 44 minutes, already gone. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool 0.
Are you really surprised? That's the that's the first thing that beats Liverpool this season until Spurs did it in, in the EFL Cup. So I'm not really surprised. I think Nottingham Forest have come from the back door and they've shocked a few of us this season. They can only get better from here. I think they've had a good season so far. What they need to do now is to consolidate. If they get the title, which I doubt, it will be a bonus. But I think so far they've achieved more than many people expected. Then at this stage, you don't expect that they will be in the top 4 at all.
That's right. Early goal for Nottingham Forest in that one. In the 8th minute, Chris Wood scored for the Reds. Anthony Elanga with the assist. I must say thank you so much, Damilola Onifadi, for your time on the show. It was fun doing this with you.
Pleasure, Austin. It was fun.
That's it. That's where the curtain falls on this edition of Sports Tonight in London. I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.